We picked the question number 14. This is one of the options that I'd offered because I offered any book that I would be interested in looking at. Um, this 19, 1987, I think. Um, 87, yeah. And the date is 87 on here. This quite striking cover from Dennis Cowan, inked by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, yeah, I got to recognize the style for sure.
hmm Yeah, very kind of scratchy, loose, um, almost aggressive, erratic inking style. Lots
Yeah,
of small, sharp lines, spatter. Um, and just the design too, the American flag on the face. It's very, very eye-catching. Did you
it's a
get from the?
cool.
Sorry, go
It's a
ahead.
cool. It's cool that he has his character doesn't like his. It's a mask over his face, right? So he doesn't have a face. He's visually without distinction in a way that makes him distinct.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good one. Well, I remember these are some of the first comics that really grabbed me. I saw some question comics from this run in a yard sale, and because of the art style, it made me, I would have been, I don't know, I would have been like maybe 12, 13 years old, something like that. Just blew my head off. It just looked dangerous, and like I just didn't understand why the comic looked this way because I was used to reading Tintin and John Romita style Spider-Man, that kind of thing. I was used to seeing that, right? Like a friendly style.
Yeah, it's all very clean. It looks like it could
hmm
be an ad for like a Dairy Queen or a yogurt commercial. The style looks like it could lend itself well to any kind of audience.
It's literally what
Doesn't.
they put on your underwear or
Yeah,
pillowcases, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not dissing the style. I think it's fantastic. I love the old the old styles, but this is much more modern, and it definitely you can tell. I think just from looking at it, if you know much about the comic book eras or epochs, this is definitely an '80s style cover.
It feels risky, right?
That's right.
Like the spatter, it's a bold move, and it feels like people could easily interpret that as an error. There's a lot of decisions here that a lot of people could interpret as a mistake, right?
Yeah,
Did you get when you
yeah.
looked at that? Did you get that these were shoes?
No, I didn't.
Hmm. Yeah. So this is actually a cover that has to do with the story inside. We're gonna take a look at that.
Cool. That doesn't happen often enough.
Not anymore, anyway. So, story's called Saving Face. That's a little pun there.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll see later, actually, the pun gets deeper. Story by Denny O'Neill, who literally wrote the book on how to write comics at DC. It's a
Oh,
book called uh, How to Write Comics the DC Comics Way, and it's a response to the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Comics Way.
nice.
And art by Dennis Cowan, and interior inks by Rig Magyar. And this whole team here pretty much does the whole series of, I think it's 35 issues and then a few quarterlies and annuals, and I have the whole thing.
That also never happens anymore.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That definitely makes a story stand out if it's uniform and artistic expression. Like you were saying, the inker's the same, the artist is the same, the writer.
In this era, 35 issues would have been a short run. This would have been considered kind of a like a commercial flop at the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's wild.
Uh, Letters by Steve Haney. And I do pay attention to the letterers because we're still at this point, 87, in the era of hand lettering. And color Tatiana Wood, also something to pay attention to because there's some striking color decisions here. Though I am not a color expert, but yeah. The book opens on conflict, which is one of the Denny O'Neill rules to writing comics. Just establish the conflict quickly in the first page if you can. So this colonel here, I forget his name, we'll see it a bit later. He and his crew, this is, so 14 is following on 13, where Vic Sage, the Question, had been investigating a series of murders of military personnel, or veterans, if memory serves. And he discovered that these radicalized ex-military guys were doing these murders, and they have this kind of agenda they're trying to put through. Those details don't really matter. You can still follow the conflict without knowing the exact details. So he's got the Question buried up to his neck next to a stump, and he's saying, I just want to test you to see how long you can stay there before you start screaming, and then I'm going to kill you. So immediately the conflict is established, but it's deepened with Vic Sage saying, okay, but what's the point? So we've got two completely different approaches to the conflict, right? So we've got like brutality, torture, and curiosity, and wit.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I look at this jungle here, I don't know what impression that gives you, but to me, it makes me wish I could be that bold in my cartooning decisions.
Why so?
Well, I pulled up some of the original art, so we'll be able to compare some of these pages. But I wanted to look at the original art here, and I was curious in how much this is the penciler and how much this is the inker, because it really kind of looks like quite rudimentary, the lines he's making, but somehow he's making it read as a jungle.
Yeah.
Just by getting some of the foliage correct, and the rest is a little bit kind of chaotic.
Sort of like reminds me of Sam Keith the way you're describing it.
Yeah, it's
in the background to be sort of, yeah, it's audacious as a style.
Yes.
Ambitious.
The framing here is really good. Like they've got so the colors help bring attention because these are the light colors. So everything else, it's like there's a good contrast, the faces versus the backgrounds. But just like the elements, he's got a rock here with some foliage pointing to the guy, and he's got a stump framing the face.
Yeah.
So everything's really well composed. Like it's tight. You really got a inverted triangle here. So quick cut of a back and forth dialogue between these two guys. Basically, the reason the guy wants to do that, it's kind of he said, it's happened to me. Someone did this to me, bared meat up to my neck. And I want to see if you can, it's like, you know, how you measure up. And right away, to me, this is what's cool about this is we've got the hero with whose only ability to get out of the situation is to speak.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So, and it's like, it takes a lot of skill to write a superhero story where the hero can't punch his way out of the problem, right?
You'd have
So,
to get accustomed with a character like Question.
it's what's that?
You'd have to become accustomed to that, writing a character like the Question.
Yeah. Someday we'll do a compare between this and Ditko's the Question. So basically, Vic Sage right away kind of engages in the battle with the Colonel, with the villain, and says, it kind of calls him out by saying, make it a contest and join me instead of like
Yeah,
just. So that's kind of cool, right?
yeah,
So he says, I'm not going to tell you how long I lasted, but I'm going to carve the number of days here on the stump where you can't see, but my men can see where. And it's again, he challenges the colonel. He says, well, they're your men. How can they be trusted? And the colonel delivers kind of a soliloquy saying how they're honorable and all that.
okay.
So he gives the motivation why he killed those soldiers in Hub City, right? Because he considers them too weak.
Yeah, that's cool. Hang on, before you flip, can you go back a sec? The middle panel, the second page there on your right, is fantastic. The way it's
Yeah.
framed out there, there's no break in the jacket to the other men in the uniform. It kind of shows like a unison of intent and everything, and one of them stands out as the leader, but they're all on the same page completely.
That is a really good observation.
And stylistically, like the face is fantastic. Like it
Oh
shows
yeah.
the expression really well. This guy's not messing around.
Yeah, that I hadn't thought of that, like how it kind of shows that these guys are essentially kind of like under this guy's mind spell in a way.
Yeah, yeah. It
Hmm.
almost makes it look like something you'd see from a panel of Multiple Man, Jamie Madrox.
Hmm.
Like they're just extensions of him.
Hmm. I also like the economy here. Uh, so a conversation can be kind of boring in a comic because it's just a bunch of heads and nothing really happens. But if you
Yeah,
slice them really quick like that, it really kind of gives the impression of like a repartee kind of vibe.
yeah, yeah. I agree. It's a cool. He knows what he's doing in the page.
And it saves room too, right? Because you got one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 panels in a page, but he compresses this interchange so that he can have uh, more room for the kind of the establishing shot and the core of the conflict here.
Yeah, yeah. It gets the house in the background, shows the environment. So he's sort of anchors the whole scene.
Mm. Flashback is in a different color, so
Yeah,
there's no this color isn't found anywhere else. So it establishes the flashback. Plus, there's no panel border, so that's
yeah,
a clear indication that this is a flashback.
yeah. It's really good composition.
It's amazing. Dennis Cowan is the man. So, okay, so what do we got here? So there's a threat of removing the mask, and he says the only way to get off the mask is to remove the adhesive, and that's to release the gas that's in my belt buckle. So you'd have to unbury me. So he's kind of trying to goad them to. He's always trying to play an angle to try to get out of this situation, but they're not going to have none of it.
Yeah.
So here we go back to a thread that's been developing throughout the whole series. It's kind of like the B plot in a way. It's Myra Furman, who's running for mayorship of Hub City against the corrupt political establishment, and she's hired a campaign manager, and you can tell what kind of character he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not on the up and up.
He's quite an antagonistic person. But he does do the transitions really well here, because he's talking about being buried, and here Myra Furman's getting makeup, talking about how she's getting buried in makeup.
That's cool.
He nails the transition every single time. And this got me thinking about like the pros and cons of the Marvel method versus full script, because I kind of feel like it's harder to pull off these transitions in Marvel method, because you're kind of, the only way to do that is to find opportunities to add dialogue that'll make it feel like a transition, which might have been the case here. But I feel in a full script, the writer can kind of steer these transitions in a more deliberate manner.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Marvel tells the story visually, which is ironic because they're using, I mean, it's a balanced thing. You know, it's story and text. You could say Image took Marvel's method and dialed it up to Spinal Tap 11 sort of thing.
Right, like in the 90s there.
Yeah, yeah. I remember reading Todd McFarlane draws 4 pages before he figures out the story for the comic book.
Yes, I've heard about that.
So story's like not even a part of the priority. It's garnishing on top of the drawings.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. But DC puts the weight of the story on the writing and the characters and the dialogue.
Well, there's this
Or did.
well, I think what happened, or at least what some people think happened, is that when the image revolution came around, it was these artists kind of flexing on the companies, on the publisher, right? And they kind of like said, well, we're the boss now. They literally, McFarlane and Liefeld and all those guys, they called a meeting with the Marvel publishers just to tell them we're leaving. Right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. So these guys became superstars. And ever since then, there's been a culture of these publishers of downplaying the importance of the artists, because there's a nervousness of these artists getting too big for their britches kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you kind of got the culture of the writer is actually the star of the book. But yeah. Here, the Colonel's guys are kind of feeling bad for Vic Sage, so they offer him something to eat. And it's like a troll. They don't really mean that. What's interesting here is that we're kind of seeing it from Vic Sage's perspective. He is viewing how the different uh, characters we saw here, what their different kind of personalities are like. So we got one guy who's like trolling him, and the other guy who's like, "Hey, don't do that." So he's got a kind of a little bit more dignity to him, maybe. So Vic Sage here goads this guy on and says he's just prattling, and so that works, and he gets this guy's temper going. So he's kind of playing the guys off of each other a little bit.
Yeah, you got no other options.
Mm-hmm. This guy feels bad for him, gives him a hat, and Sage asks him a question like, "You seem like a good guy. Why are you with this Colonel guy?" And we got his name, Colonel DeBeck. And so he's calling into question this guy's loyalty to the Colonel, right? He's kind of saying, "You're a good guy. Why would you?" Like he's trying to point out that this Colonel DeBeck is not a good guy, and you shouldn't be with him. So he's kind of playing on these psychologies.
Weaponized questions from a guy named The Question.
Mm-hmm. So here we have Mayor Furman. She goes kind of deliver a speech, and she's got this again, like boom, 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 these quick cuts, close-ups, different. The eyes are all lined up, but the different angles, it makes it feel like there's a lot of tension.
Oh wow, I didn't notice the eyes lined up. That's a great touch. 10 panels too, or 9 panels. 10 on the page is not easy to squeeze in.
Yeah.
But it sort of gives the impression that the dialogue is like there's combat in it.
Yes, and that's exactly what's going on. Like this guy is cornering this mayoral candidate by bringing out her her past like sex life, I guess. She's saying like,
Okay.
and yeah, so he goes like he's calling about talking about her daughter. He says, "Where's the father?" And he's just by asking these slimy questions, he's implying she's a bastard child. And
yeah,
he's like, how, and then he's like, "You haven't married any of your boyfriends." And she's like, "Well, you make it sound like so many." And she's like, "How many was it? 3, 4, 5?" She's like, I don't know how many." It's like, "Too many to count, eh?" It's all by like implication, these slimy implications,
Yeah.
And so the campaign manager kind of cuts it short and says, "Welcome to politics, lady. Welcome to politics, dumpling."
Nice.
All right, this guy starts to fire. The sympathetic guy starts to fire for the question. And now he's alone for the night. So he says, "I have to start to survive and sink deep into my own self." And then as he's like doing this meditation, he snags on a memory of growing up in the orphanage, and this quite severe nun trying to discipline the devil out of him, right? So it's interesting that to me, what I noticed was a motif of descent into the underworld. So he's buried up into down to his neck, and over here, his interior world, he's going down into the underworld. So there's a parallel there.
And again, with the flashback, there's no panel around it. It's just floating in space, like it's a thought of his.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It does it really well.
And it's juxtaposed next to his head, so it just feel like his thought, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's perfect.
I really feel the writer's kind of wrestling with some maybe, you know, hostility towards Christianity, like especially here, like that's just the cross so prominent here.
Yeah, I've known some people who went through Catholic school in the 70s or
Mm,
60s,
mm.
and they have similar experiences.
Yeah. For some reason, it was a thing. Like even my father would tell me about, you know, growing up, like going to Catholic school and the nuns being just very disciplinarian. I don't know. It must have been in the culture or something.
Yeah, so I have no personal experience, but I'd use the word brutishly disciplinary, a disciplinarian.
Hmm.
A lot of meter sticks on left-handed writing and things like that.
Yeah, that's definitely no shortage of anecdotes like that. So anyway, the nun asks the young Vic Sage, "What do you have to say for yourself?" And he tells the nun to go to hell. So bad move. Um,
And then that little head sort of finishes the memory, the top of the panel there.
Great observation. Boom, boom, right there.
Yeah.
Wow. I've read this a whole bunch of times and I pick up on things every time. It's amazing.
The so I've like my first favorite artist was Jim Lee, and he has such a wonderful style. But the composition, like once I read it once, I've sort of finished. It's you know it's really really well polished and finished, and the technique is fantastic. But there's not a whole lot of effort in the composition. Once you read the comic book, you've got the whole thing on the first run.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a mature artist telling a story.
Mm-hmm. Man, what I would give to read those scripts to see how much of this was the artist, saying, okay, I got to solve this storytelling problem and coming up with these solutions, or how much of it was Denny O'Neill saying, I want this here and that, and.
Yeah, yeah,
You can extrapolate because you know how much O'Neill's putting into the script by the book he wrote on how to write scripts. So I would bet that this is Dennis Cowan's idea here.
I like it.
So anyway, we go back to this tension between Vic Sage, who's buried, and this hot-headed military guy who says it's gonna be hot, but there's gonna be a cold snap at night. So he says, like, what's worse, cold or hot? And Sage is always pulling an angle. He's still on the case, so to speak. It's like, I'll answer you if you answer me if you killed those sergeants in Hub City, right? He's still a reporter, right? It's kind of insane. Where the guy admits to the murders, and then the sympathetic guy in the trench coat comes up. He's like, dude, don't say those things. Like, if he gets free, he'll use that against you. And he's like, well, the colonel won't let him go free, right?
Yeah,
And then they take off, and like this, he's alone. And this page is, expresses the isolation.
yeah. It slows time down a whole lot too, and
Oh,
especially
yeah.
between 6 and 8 panels on average for every page so far, and this one is mostly just one with two smaller.
Hmm.
And they leave a lot of room. The dialogue's all in the far corner,
Mm-hmm.
so it, yeah, it gives your eye a lot of time to look over all the detail.
and he's small in this large page, right? It really feels like, whoa, like as opposed to something like this where he's taken up most of the panel. It really
Yeah.
feels like he's alone in this jungle, right?
No, for sure. And increases, um, looking for a better word for this, vulnerability for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm, for sure. I think that's a good word, vulnerable. Yeah. Well, actually, it comes up because then he's basically subject to whatever happens around him. So then it starts raining, fire goes out, and in order to survive, he goes in deeper to like a fire within,
Cool.
and it does fall asleep. And this, I don't know if this is a memory or if he's sleeping and I'm not sure what. I feel like there's some relation here, but I don't know exactly what it is. But this kind of creepy looking fella, his says, "Ladies and gentlemen, directing your attention to the center of the stage." And we have the Myra Furman, the mayoral candidate, obviously in a past life, in a memory. Um, she was a stripper.
Okay.
And we do have some original art we can compare to, and we'll pull that up in a minute. One of these pages here. And I like the colors here because it really makes it feel like in a nightclub with the flashing colors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good eye. And
And
the
it's
floating
second.
head, the floating heads gives an impression that like they're not anchored to a body, just sort of
Mm-hmm.
floating appetites going googling,
Yeah.
or oogling. I mean,
Yeah. at this at this point in this era of history, this is the same.
yeah, yeah, fair enough.
What's interesting here is she wakes up, like exclaims, "God," right? And he's going deep, deep, right? I think there's like a loose thematic weaving being done here. She
Yeah,
wakes up, it's God, like almost like he went deep enough to find God or something.
is that a shoe coming out of the dirt in front of him? I can't make out the.
Here?
Yeah.
No, so what's happening is the mask is coming off,
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah,
which mirrors the mask coming off here, right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
peeling of the clothing, like who are you really, right? You can't hide behind a mask.
That's nice.
There's something going on here that I can't quite suss out, but he's trying to say something about these characters. Uh, they have a psychologically intersecting journey here or something. Because in a way, these guys are kind of ogling the question, right?
Yeah,
And the same is happening to her here. They're curious about what's behind the mask. These guys are like greedy to know what's behind the her mask, I guess.
they're both on different kinds of stages.
True. So here the guy says you don't have long to go. But that didn't really help him because he's like, well, how long is that? Is it minutes? Is it hours? Is it days,
Yeah.
and he's kind of falling apart a little bit. And then he hears like a voice. This isn't Sister Agatha, the nun. She was small potatoes. He's like, who's that? It's like me, Richard, your teacher. So in the earlier episodes, he's got a martial arts sensei called Richard Dragon, but he's a scorpion now. And he says, "Well, you've changed."
Ah.
And he says, "Well, maybe I'm not Richard." Anyway, as I was saying, you beat Sister Agatha by toughing it out, but it won't work here. He says, "Why not?" Because you're not that tough. Try tough, and pretty soon you'll crack like an egg. He says, then what? He's kind of shocked, right? You gotta let go of all the discomfort and pain and fear. And to do that, you first have to accept the discomfort and pain and fear and cherish it. It'll only leave when you invite it to stay. And he says, but if I cherish it, I won't want it to leave. And the scorpion says, hey, nobody said this is easy. Oh, and one more thing. The future doesn't exist. Neither does the past. Only now exists. He's just like dropping the metaphysics on the guy. And then he says, like, you're right. You are Richard. You sound just like him. And he says, well, I ought to do something about my complexion.
Nice.
That's a very, like, cool interchange. I like that. I kind of would have liked the scorpion to actually have word balloons, though.
Yeah. It's fun that he's talking about his complexion to a guy whose costume is not having a face.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, I kind of feel like he kind of, by putting it in captions, he kind of established that the scorpion's not really speaking. But I think it would have been more like psychedelic or something if the scorpion actually was speaking, which would show his psychological breakdown even more, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway.
Wow, the colors really pop.
Over here, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, he drinks some rain. There's more conflict. They shoot at him without really, like hitting him. They're just trying to get to him.
Yeah.
So anyways, he says 74 hours. This is the colonel, right? He's trying to get him to break. You know what I was doing after 74 hours? Get this panel.
Yeah.
So startling the red against the rest of the page.
Those are his flashbacks.
Yeah.
The earlier one with him recalling the attack on the woman, or like when he's attacking the person, I think on page 2. It's the only color of red there.
Oh yeah. Awesome. This is why it's fun to do this with friends, right? We all see different things,
Yeah. It's interesting too that his memories, like if this is what they're going for, at least it comes across like that his memories are, red is the color when soldiers, they say that I saw everything in red. It's usually when things slow down, but it's in high action periods when their adrenaline takes over their judgment.
Okay.
If you want to accelerate time in a room, you paint it red, and the person will think after being in there for 10 minutes, they'll have been there for 2 hours.
Wow.
But if you want to do the opposite, there's a cool bar that painted the walls blue, and they got a second last call out of it because people would be there for half an hour and think that they've been there for longer. I got the red one inverted, sorry. It's the opposite. So they painted the bar blue, and people would show up at like 11 to beat last call for 12,
I get it.
and then order a second round of drinks because they feel like, oh, I've been here for 3 hours. I better,
Yeah.
Yeah, red has a serious psychological connotation, especially in connection to memory and things. It's interesting.
Hmm. So anyway, basically Vic Sage beats the guy by outlasting him, right? Like by being able to survive longer than he did in this state. And now that he did do that, there's a debate about, do we let this guy go? Because now he knows where the guys that he's been investigating, where the guys who killed those guys. And then he's like, well, we can't let him go, because he'll get us in trouble. And just this one guy says like, what, but you promised that if he would win, you'd let him go. And now there's like a conflict between these guys, like, we can't let a reporter go. And there's this debate about, are we actually honorable men, right?
Yeah, it's a good detail because it shows that they believe in their cause. They think it's good, at least,
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there'd be no problem with breaking one's word.
Mm-hmm. So the debate goes unresolved and it comes to blows. So they fight, and eventually the Beck does stab that sympathetic trenchcoat guy, who manages to strike down the Beck.
Hey,
And
your screen. There we are. Your screen dropped out for a second there.
okay, sounds like it's okay now.
Yeah.
Okay. So the conclusion is, this guy goes, we trusted you to have answers, to know. You taught us about honor, right? So he's disappointed and feels betrayed. And the Beck blows his head off.
Oh, wow. He blows the guy who was...
No, his own head off.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I guess that takes care of that.
This is why it's suggested for mature readers. And the other guys do the same. So they follow him, right? And
Jeez.
like you mentioned, they're not real people.
Yeah. Extensions of him.
Yep. They're all just this guy. So he blows his head off. They're like, okay, I guess the colonel has spoken. Boom.
How many guys were there originally? Were there 5, including the colonel?
The colonel, and then 3 guys, and then the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So flip the page there for a second. It even shows you the number of people who aren't people. On the second page, there's 3, and then the one guy who thinks for himself isn't there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh wow. That's
Really,
amazing.
really, really well done.
Wow. Each time I go through this, I think I like it, and then I like it more.
Yeah.
Just the craft of it. It's just so good.
Yeah. This is why I brought up Jim Lee, because he's sort of the opposite. His style is so well and polished, but I'd never noticed stuff like this. And it's the first time I've seen this from this artist. And there's just deep psychology and composition put into it. He's a good artist for this character.
So thoughtful.
Yeah.
So anyway, the guy starts digging him out, and he says, I lost a lot of blood, but I'll do what I can. And as the guy's dying, He digs him out enough so that the Vic Sage can pull himself out, and it ends with a Shakespeare quote, which O'Neill does a lot. And the quote is, "What is honor? A word. Who hath it? He that died of Wednesday." And final page.
Wow. Question's pretty built. Look at that arm.
Like, this is the kind of thing I want to learn to have the boldness to do, right?
Just
Like,
don't
I'm
bother
just
with
not
it.
going to finish rendering these pants.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me a bit of Sam Keith as well, like the incredibly detailed shoulders and biceps. And he put detail into the legs as well, but he'd just leave some parts that looked
Like,
unfinished, but worked with the picture.
how do you make a decision like that?
Yeah.
It just makes the whole image.
Yeah, with the sky opening up above him as well. There's no border to the panel.
hmm It was just, otherwise it would just be a guy standing there, but for some reason making that decision, it's just better.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And letters pages. These letters pages in this series get pretty interesting because the O'Neill writes back a lot, and
Cool.
he does suggested reading, and then the letter writers will discuss it, will say, "Hey, I read this book, like Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. This is what I thought about it," and it becomes like almost like a book club.
Oh, that's very unique. That's very cool.
I started reading Crime and Punishment during the summer. I didn't finish it because I had a job. Like, I do have some opinions on it. It seems to be an influence on your writing, and it's just like, it's so unusual, unexpected, right? For this in a DC superhero comic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very different. Marvel's would be a lot of them had numbered questions, and some of them were just like, is Gambit ever going to hook up with Rogue? And the writer would find a cheeky answer, like, I don't know, better buy next issue, kind of thing, you know?
There's tons of that in the DC comics, but this really was. I would say this was like what happened. I don't know when Vertical was launched. I feel, was that the 90s? I don't know, when did Vertigo launch? Um, this feels almost like a Vertigo title
Yeah,
with a little bit less like hipness,
yeah,
like that hipsterish kind of vibe.
yeah. It does a really moody story without coming across as what we would call emo back in my day.
Right. Anyway, this whole series is highly recommended to
This is the first time I've come across a question comic. I've
cool.
never been interested in the character until the cartoon, the Justice League Unlimited cartoon came out. He was in the second season.
Yeah.
And even then, it doesn't really do the character justice compared to what I've seen here. He was just sort of a conspiracy theory gimmick.
Yeah. Well, the thing is when you put him in a cartoon, in a kid's cartoon, um, this there's a lot of layers of complexity and sophistication and subtlety for a character that's going to appear for what, maybe a total of 10 minutes of screen time. It wouldn't work, so you have to give him a gimmick.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Um,
And then also, you couldn't add this depth of psychology into a kid's show.
yeah. So I kind of get where they went, and I think there's a lot that can be done with that gimmick, like the conspiracy theory thing, if you have a writer who actually is uh, well versed in conspiracy theory and is going to be bold enough to delve into the conspiracy theories that actually are out there rather than just the ones that will the publisher will feel comfortable about,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's something there. This is my favorite character, so I've thought about this, um, and maybe we'll look at Steve Ditko's version of this character, who's I kind of feel like this is O'Neill entering into a conversation with Ditko's version, because Ditko wrote the character as a black and white, not so much as a question, but more as an answer, right?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's really like interesting the conversation that's been had about this character. They kind of lost the thread of it in the 2000s. They kind of forgot about they just forgot about they just didn't get what was going on with this character, I think. But yeah, anyway, that was the question number 14.
He's been butchered now. I think he's a woman, and he's tied up with Pandora's box. It's like a spiritual, mystical superpower quest. He's up there with the Spectre. Like he's some kind of existential form of judgment. The last time I came across the character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's news to me. I tried the latest series, the All Along the Watchtower series, and it just wasn't good. It's not cool. Like when you cut your teeth on the question and it's this,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough to get me pull me back in, right?
It's such a nice combination. The story was very mature. The art was so like experimental, but like the really what's the word I'm looking for? There's like dynamism in there, but it's very there's a lot of intent. You can tell, like the three guys linking up that one face that I is my favorite panel is the second page where the three soldiers bleed out from the one guy's jacket.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of thought that goes into this. Deliberate was the word I'm looking for.
There you go. I'm trying to find the original art on some of these pages so we can take a look here. Here.
Do you own the copies of them?
No, I'm looking on comicartfans.com.
Oh, cool.
It's an original art website. So I got it here. I just got to figure out on Zoom how to share that. Share. This share. So you can see.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a lot of it's there, right? Screen tone and everything. These lines. There's some other ones they have on the website.
It's amazing how much the colors detract from the inking job in every comic book I've seen.
Yeah, I know. In a lot of ways, like I prefer the black and white.
Yeah. Have you ever happened to come across? I think his name is pronounced Mark Teixeira, the artist. He did Ghost Rider.
Yeah, he did Moon Knight too.
Oh my God, his pencils and inks before the colors come in. I mean, with the colors, it still looks fantastic. He's one of the best in the game. But without the colors, I can't believe a human can do that. It's incredible.
I'll have to check that out. Anyway, thank you, James, for helping me deepen my appreciation even further of this beautiful comic book, right?
Yeah, thanks for introducing.
Yeah, so we'll do some more. This was really fun. I really like that.
Yeah, me too. This is good. I enjoyed this.
We're gonna stop the recording. You can stay on for a minute, and
Yeah.
yes. Um, and I'd love to hear like people's comments if like you have something to add that we didn't pick up on. That'd be cool too. So see you in the next one. God bless.